Welcome to the second lecture on Raptor flowchart interpreter. In this lecture, we are going to discuss constants, operators, and some of the built-in functions supported by Raptor tool. Constants are predefined variables whose value cannot be changed throughout the program, unlike normal variables. So if it is normal variables, once you define a value and that value can be changed throughout the program. But if it is a constant, you are not allowed to do any changes. And Raptor provides a set of predefined constants, and Pi and E are two of them. So Pi stands for a value 3.14 approximately. So whenever you want to use this value, instead of using this big number, simply you can use Pi as a constant. And E is another constant, and if whenever you would like to use this value, you can use a constant E. Okay. The next one we'll see operators. An operator is a symbol that operates on a value or a variable. So for example, let's take plus is an addition operator. This addition operator is operating on two operands. The addition operator is operating on two operands. This 3 and 4 is called as operands, and this plus is called as operator. These are some of the operators supported by the Raptor tool. This is for addition, and this is for subtraction, this is for multiplication, and this is for division. So here this plus, minus, asterisk symbol, the slash, these are all called as operators, and these 3 and 4 is called as operands. If you want to find out the powers, exponents, then you can make use of either cap symbol or double asterisk symbol. So it's like this. So 3 cap 4 stands for 3 power 4, whose value is 81. So basically you can use either of these symbols to find the powers. The Raptor provides two more operators, REM and MOD. REM is to find the remainder when the right operand divides the left operand. When 10 is divisible by 3, and you will get the remainder as 1. And mod operator is to find the quotient. When 10 is divided by 4, the quotient is 2. So REM is to find the remainder during division, and MOD is to find the quotient. So these are the examples. 2 plus 3. Here plus is acting as a operator, and this 2 and 3 is acting as the operands. Here 2 and 3 are constants. Here A and B are variables. You can apply operators on either constants or variables or combination of both of them. The concept called operator precedence comes into effect when an expression involves more than one operator. If an expression involves more than one operator, in that case, which operator is supposed to evaluate first? It is based on the precedency levels, and this is the order of precedence defined by the most of the programming languages. And first the functions will be having the highest priority, then the parenthesis will be the next highest priority, followed by exponentiation, followed by multiplication and division from left to right, addition and subtraction from left to right. Okay, so the first priority will goes to functions, the second priority goes to parentheses, third priority goes to powers called as exponentiations, fourth priority goes to multiplication and divisions, and fifth priority goes to addition and subtraction. So it is same like a BODMAS rule that you will learn in your school. So let's assume this is an expression. The right side expression will be evaluated, and the result will be assigned to the left side operand. So at the right side you are having 3 operators, a parenthesis operator, a plus operator, and division operator. So you have 3 operator plus, division, and parenthesis operator. So you have 3 operators. So when you have 3 operators, out of these 3 operators, which operator is supposed to evaluate first? It depends on its precedence level. Out of these 3 operators, the parenthesis will be having highest priority, so the parenthesis will be executed. So first 3 plus 9 will be executed, 12, and then this 12 will be divided by 3, which results to 4. So x will be having a value called 4. So in the same way here, this expression is also having 3 operators, plus, division and parenthesis. Out of these three operators, parenthesis is having the highest priority. So the parenthesis will be evaluated first. So 9 divided by 3, 9 divided by 3, 3. 9 divided by 3 will be evaluated first, which results 3, and that value will be added to 3. So the x will be having a value called 6. Okay. The precedence is matters. The precedent will change the value of x. So when you have an expression which involves more than one operator, then you have to evaluate the operator which is having the highest priority first. So like this. These are some of the built-in functions provided by the Raptor programming tool. Okay, sqrt is a function to find the square root of a given number. This is to find the logarithm values, base e, and this is to find the absolute value. So what this will do is, it will ignore the signs. If you give negative value as the input, that automatically converts to a positive value. Okay, and the ceiling function, if you give a fractional value, that will be rounded up to a whole number. That means if you give 3.14, it will round up to the nearest whole number, which is 4. If you use floor function, it rounds down to the nearest whole number. The nearest whole number for 9.82 is 9. Here ceiling function will round up, it will go to the next number. Floor function will round down, it will come to the number below this, 9.82. The sine function is to find this sine value, and like the same for cos value, tan, cot. And the random function is to generate random numbers between 0.0 and 1.0, including 0.0, excluding 1.0. For example, okay, if you multiply the value given by random number with 100, you will get some value in between 0 to 99.9999. This length of function is to find the length of a given string, length of a given message. So for example, here if you give this as a input to the length of function, it will count number of letters inside the double quotes and it will give you that count. So while counting, it will consider all the symbols. It will consider alphabets, will consider digits, special characters, spaces and all. So if you observe here, so this is one character, 2, 3, 4, space is also one character, 5, this is 6, this is 7, and this is 8. Okay, so basically the square root function is to find the square root of a given number, this is to find the logarithm values, and this is to convert the given number into positive value if it is not positive. This is to round your fractional value to the nearest integer. It rounds up to the nearest integer, and it rounds down to the nearest integer, and this is to find out the trigonometric values. And this is to generate the random function is to generate the random values between 0.0 and 1.0, excluding 1.0, and this is to find the length of a given string. Now let's write two programs. We'll write program to find the square root of a given value, as well as we'll find the length of a given string. Okay. So this is my master console. So this is my master console. Let's clear this input. Okay. I'm going to find out the square root of a given number. So when I say given number, I have to read the input from the user. I have to read the input from the user, take the input symbol. So before this, save your program and double click this and give a prompt message. Enter a number to find square root. So this is the prompt message that will display when it is expecting input from the user. and here you have to give name to a variable. This variable will hold the input given by the user. Let's say A. Okay, so A is a variable that holds the input, and let's find out the square root and print it. I would like to print the square root of A. As I would like to print this square root of A, let's take output symbol, print the square root of A. The square root of given number is, okay. So if you want to find the square root of a given number, you can use a function called as sqrt function, sqrt of A. So what it will do is, it will display a message, the square root of a given number is followed by the square root of A. Let's execute step by step. Your program execution will start from the start symbol. The next one is the input statement. If the statement is executed, it expects a user to enter the input. So let's give 16. A is holding 16, and this is output symbol. So this output symbol produce a message, the square root of a given number is followed by the square root of A. See here, the square root of A is nothing but, the square root of 16 is nothing but 4. Okay, this is the way how you can use square root function. Next we will see another example that finds length of given string. Let's clear all these inputs. So in the next program, so what we are going to do is, we are going to give a message as input, and we are going to find the length of that message. So let's read the input, drag the input symbol, just display a prompt message like this, enter a message to find length. Here you have to give a variable name. The input given by the user will be stored in a variable called as message. Okay, so here this is the input statement. It will read input from the user, and let's find out the length of the given string. So I would like to print the length, so take the output symbol, output statement, click it and drag it here. Just the length of given message is, if you want to find out the length of a given message, you can use a function called as length underscore of. Okay, here you have to give name of the variable for which you are going to find the length. My variable name is message. Okay, so here what I am doing is, I am just reading a message from the user, and I am going to print the length of the given message. Let's execute this. Given input, let's give welcome to the world. So the message I am giving is welcome to the world, and this message will be stored in a variable called as message, and here I am finding the length of the message. See, the length of message is 20. You can count it. So this is the way how you can use a predefined functions provided by the Raptor tool. Thank you.